Hey there, folks. I'm Joe Crawford of artloan.com. Pretty much every day I go to CSSBattle.dev and do the daily target. That's what I'm going to do right now. All right. We got shapes. We got some fun shapes. The curve here makes me think that I want an element with a border radius. And so that dictates which approach I want to take. And I've got two. One of them is the blank template, which creates a single P element that I put things on. And then there's the nested template, which is the HTML element and the body element and no additional elements. I think here I like this approach. And so that's what I'm going to do. So let's see what that looks like effectively. So let's put yellow on the body. And let's push that down. Let's create that color. Now, I think we know we want a linear gradient that starts at that color and then is transparent partly, and then has a position at and probably centered. No, I need 0, 0. And then I can do a 1% because that saves me characters as the width of that background, and then a height of, well, so I'll start it at 33% but that's not really the number that I'm going to choose. Okay. And then I'll do some more fake numbers. We'll do 80% and 0. And I'll change all those numbers. All right, let's push down. And just for, let's move the margins onto this body, just because it puts everything in the same place. It doesn't really matter which way we do it. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. There it is. And then it's how tall? 1, 2. That looks correct. Margins on the sides. 100, 110, 20, 30, 32. So there we are. We've got those stripes. We've got that element. Let's P element, border radius. Let's try 30 pixels. And I can't remember. Can I do that without? No, I need the pixels. That's right. And 30 pixels does it. Is 20 pixels not enough? Yeah, 30 pixels. And then if I do 1 inch, is that correct? No, it's too much. Yeah, we'll leave it at 30 pixels. Okay. Now that we've got that, let's choose some different values. If it's 120 tall, well, we got 2 stripes, but yeah, so I was going to say something smart, and then I did 60, 70, 40 pixels, 40, 50, 40. Oh, look at that. So the stripes are slightly different. So what do I want to do about that? What I need to do is, oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. So these stripes are not as symmetrical as I hoped. So that means I think I need to change the top. So here's the trick for that. I'm going to say, no, repeat. Don't give me a repeat. And then I'm going to set this to black. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this 100% because there's the actual thing. Okay, so what do I want to do? What I would like to do is set, we'll do transparent first. No, we'll do black first. Yeah, we'll do black first because that's going to be a smaller number, which is going to end up being transparent. And then 0. Forgive me if I'm not explaining this super well. And then we move it down. 10, 20, 30. So that's what I made. And then this is going to be like, what, 10 pixels tall? And then the height of this is, I've got 70. Let's say 30, 40, 50. Okay. So I've got this stripe, which I'm going to make transparent. And then I'm going to let it repeat. And I think this will do it. There we go. So a little bit odd, right? I can't start it right at the top because this middle bit is thicker than these two sides, which is why I needed to set a background position of 30 pixels. And that we'll just break that out onto another line. So 0, 30 pixels are the background position X and Y. And I need them both. Otherwise, things will be, centered in odd ways. I can go back to having this be 1% wide, which saves me some characters. Okay. Um, and then, like I often do, I have the impulse to do a conic gradient, but I think that I'll do a linear gradient of a very similar type, and then constrain that with background position. So I want that 40 pixels tall, let's say, transparent, and then I'm going to push it down 0, 40 pixels, 40 pixels down, and then give it. I'm going to again do 1% wide to start, and then a height of 200 pixels, 1.8. And there it is. So now I've created where the stripes are, but now I need a proper width. So I'm going to do a repeat is only going to be up and down. So repeat Y. And so now there's that 1%. If I set 50%, then that's the middle. And now, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. It's a 1% wide gradient and it's 180 pixels tall gradient, and it's repeating. And the reason we only see two of them is because the height is 300 pixels. If it was smaller, then we would see that repeating a lot more, right? So if I do it, yeah, if I do 50, 50, then you see it over and over and over and over and over. And then if I increase the width there, that's 10% wide. That's fine. Okay, well, let's stop hemming and hawing. So it's 180 pixels tall. And now let's set a width. How about, let's try percentage, 20%, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They tend to choose numbers that are not even, but 30% looks like it's doing it. And then I set a background color, and I think that's it. Submit. And I think that's going to be a final answer. I think that solves to 100%. And I'm satisfied with that. Waiting on the back end to respond with a determination. My goal is always to get to 100% with these videos. I usually will make a note in the title when it gets only to 99.9%. I don't think I have any that are. I had a few that were very, very difficult. They were stuck at like 99.7%, something like that. But yeah, I tend to be able to get to 100% one way or the other, even though, you know, yeah. So there, that's it. Let's submit. That's a final answer. That's good enough. Going into the weekend here. Hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Go make a web page. Go make that web page. It's fun. It's fun to make web pages. It's so fun. Um, yeah. Write some CSS. CSS is fun too. And I'll see you around. Bye.